The cantina on Nexus Prime smelled of smoke and fear. In the darkest corner, away from the flickering neon lights and the noise of drunk aliens, Kang Wu sat perfectly still. His black eyes watched everything and everyone. After 20 years of killing for the Void Syndicate, he had learned that staying alive meant never relaxing. The guild was famous across the galaxy. When emperors needed rivals removed, they called the Void Syndicate. When corporations wanted competitors eliminated, they paid the guild's price. When entire governments needed to disappear quietly, the syndicate made it happen. In 300 years, they had never failed a single contract. Kang Wu was their best. He had killed 7 planetary leaders, dozens of military commanders, and countless criminals who thought they were untouchable. His hands were steady, his mind was sharp, and his conscience had died long ago. At least that was what he told himself. The cantina door opened with a soft hiss. A tall figure in expensive robes walked in, looking around nervously. Kang Wu recognized him immediately from the security files. Velthar was an Alterian merchant, one of the richest beings in this sector of space. His blue skin looked pale under the dim lights, and his forearms moved restlessly as he searched the crowd. Kang Wu raised one finger slightly. It was enough. Velthar saw the signal and walked over to the dark corner table. The Alterian sat down carefully, his eyes darting around the room like a frightened animal. "You are Kang Wu," Velthar said. It was not a question. "I am," Kang Wu replied. His voice was quiet and calm. "You have work for the guild." Velthar nodded quickly. His upper hands reached into his robes and pulled out a small datapad. He placed it on the table between them but did not let go. "This contract is different," the Alterian said. "More important than anything your guild has done before." Kang Wu almost smiled. Every client said the same thing. They all thought their problems were the most important in the galaxy. He had heard those words from kings and beggars alike. "The target," Kang Wu said simply. Velthar's grip on the datapad tightened. "A human. A military commander named Park Day. He is stationed on Kepler 442b, a mining colony in the Outer Rim." The word human made Kang Wu pause. The guild did not often receive contracts involving humans. Not because humans were particularly dangerous or well protected. They were actually quite fragile compared to most galactic species, but something about human contracts always felt different. Messier. More complicated than they should be. "Payment," Kang Wu said. Velthar finally released the datapad and slid it across the table. 50 million galactic credits. Half now, half when the job is finished. Kang Wu kept his face blank, but inside he was surprised. 50 million credits was enough to buy a small fleet of ships. It was enough to purchase entire planets. It was more than the guild charged for eliminating galactic senators. He picked up the datapad and activated it. The screen showed a human male, perhaps 40 years old, with dark hair and kind eyes. Park Day wore a simple military uniform with commander's insignia. Nothing about him seemed special or dangerous. He looked like 10,000 other human officers scattered across the galaxy. "Why is this human worth 50 million credits?" Kang Wu asked. Velthar's 4 hands began to shake slightly. He is causing problems, disrupting trade routes, making it difficult for legitimate businesses to operate in his sector." Kang Wu had heard many lies in his career. He could smell deception like others could smell perfume. Velthar was lying, or at least not telling the complete truth. But clients always lied. The guild did not care about their reasons, only about their ability to pay. "His security?" Kang Wu asked. "Minimal," Velthar said quickly. "The colony has perhaps 200 human soldiers. No advanced weapon systems, no shields or barriers. Just a simple mining operation on a frontier world." Kang Wu scrolled through the information on the datapad. Park Day's daily routine was listed in detail. He woke at dawn, inspected the mining equipment, held meetings with his staff, ate lunch in the common hall, reviewed reports in his office, and went to bed early. It was the schedule of a dedicated but unremarkable administrator. "When do you need this completed?" Kang Wu asked. "As soon as possible," Velthar replied. "Every day he remains alive costs us money." Kang Wu studied the Alterian's face. Velthar was sweating now, despite the cool temperature in the cantina. His breathing was fast and shallow. The merchant was afraid, but not of Kang Wu or the guild. He was afraid of something else entirely. "I will take this information to my superiors," Kang Wu said. The guild will review the contract and give you an answer within 48 hours. Velthar's eyes widened in panic. No, you do not understand. This cannot wait. The job must be accepted now. Nothing cannot wait, Kang Wu said calmly. The guild has procedures. We investigate every target, plan every approach, consider every risk. This is why we never fail. But 48 hours, Kang Wu repeated. His voice carried a hint of steel that made Velthar stop talking. The Alterian sat back in his chair, defeated. Where can I contact you for the answer? Kang Wu stood up smoothly. You cannot. We will contact you. He pocketed the datapad and walked away from the table without looking back. As he moved through the crowded cantina toward the exit, Kang Wu felt eyes watching him. Not unusual in a place like this, but these eyes felt different, hungrier, more desperate. He glanced around casually and spotted at least 3 different beings trying to look like they were not paying attention to him. Outside in the station corridor, Kang Wu took a transport pod back to the guild's hidden base. The ride gave him time to think about the strange contract. 50 million credits for killing one unremarkable human on a backwater colony, a client who was obviously terrified and lying about his reasons. Multiple watchers in the cantina who seemed very interested in whether the guild would accept the job. Something was wrong. Very wrong. The guild base was hidden inside an abandoned cargo section of the station. To anyone scanning the area, it looked like empty storage containers filled with broken machinery. In reality, it was one of the most advanced facilities in the galaxy, with weapons, computers, and communication systems that most governments could not afford. Kang Wu found the other senior members of the guild waiting for him in the briefing room. Choi Hana, their information specialist, looked up from her computer screens as he entered. Yoon-jae, their technology expert, was cleaning a plasma rifle with mechanical precision. The Weaver, their ancient leader, sat in shadows at the head of the table. Interesting evening? Choi Hana asked. Kang Wu placed the datapad on the table. Read this. Tell me what you think. Choi Hana picked up the device and activated it. Her eyebrows rose as she read the contract details. She passed it to Yoon-jae, who whistled softly when he saw the payment amount. 50 million for one human, Yoon-jae said. Either this Park Day is the most dangerous person in the galaxy, or someone is lying to us. The Weaver leaned forward slightly. In the dim light, his face was impossible to see clearly, but his voice carried the weight of centuries. Tell me about the client. Kang Wu described his meeting with Velthar, including the merchant's obvious fear and the watchers in the cantina. When he finished, the room was quiet for a long moment. I do not like this, Choi Hana said finally. Something feels wrong about the entire situation. When has anything about our work ever felt right? Yoon-jae asked with a bitter laugh. This is different, Choi Hana insisted. I have been researching humans for the past few months. There are patterns. Strange patterns that do not make sense. The Weaver raised one ancient hand for silence. Explain. Choi Hana activated her own computer and projected images onto the wall. Look at the statistics. In the past 50 years, there have been 47 major conflicts involving human colonies or settlements. By all logical analysis, humans should have lost at least 30 of those conflicts. They are not the strongest species, not the smartest, not the best armed. She changed the display to show battle reports and casualty figures, but they won 39 of those conflicts. They achieved impossible victories against superior forces again and again, not through luck or accident, through something else. What kind of something else? Kang Wu asked. I do not know, Choi Hana admitted. That is what worries me. The Weaver stood up slowly. We will research this human and this contract thoroughly before making any decisions. Kang Wu, tell the client we need more time. I already did, Kang Wu replied. 48 hours. Good. The ancient being moved toward the door, then paused. And Kang Wu? Be very careful. I have lived long enough to learn that when something seems too easy, it usually is. As the meeting broke up, Kang Wu remained in his chair, staring at the image of Park Day on the wall screen. The human looked so ordinary, so harmless. Just another military officer doing his job on a distant world. So why did Kang Wu feel like he was looking at the most dangerous assignment of his career? Choi Hana had not slept in 36 hours. Her eyes burned from staring at computer screens, but she could not stop reading. Every file she opened about humans made the mystery deeper and more disturbing. She sat in the guild's research center, surrounded by holographic displays showing data from across the galaxy. Battle reports, trade records, diplomatic files, medical studies. Everything the Guild's extensive network could gather about humanity. The more she read, the less sense it made. Kang Wu entered the room carrying 2 cups of coffee. He set one beside Choi Hana's keyboard and kept the other for himself. The bitter smell filled the air. "What have you found?" he asked. Choi Hana rubbed her tired eyes. "Too much. Not enough. I do not know anymore." She gestured at the displays around them. "Look at this." The main screen showed a star map with hundreds of red dots scattered across several sectors. "These are human colonies that have been attacked in the past 50 years, she explained. "Pirates, hostile aliens, natural disasters, economic collapse, and every kind of threat you can imagine." She pressed a button and the red dots changed to green. "These are the colonies that survived and are now thriving. 94% survival rate, Kang Wu. Do you know what the average survival rate is for new colonies of other species?" "Tell me," Kang Wu said, though he suspected he did not want to know. 37%. Choi Hana switched to another display showing casualty reports. "Here is something even stranger. In battles where humans are outnumbered 10 to 1, they still win 60% of the time. When they are outnumbered 5 to 1, they win almost 90% of the time." Kang Wu frowned. "Maybe they are better fighters than we thought." "That is what I thought too." Choi Hana opened another file. "So I looked at individual combat records. Human soldiers are not faster than Velkari warriors. They are not stronger than Thraxian berserkers. They are not smarter than Altarian strategists. By every measurable standard, they should lose most of their fights. But they do not. No, they do not." She stood up and walked to a wall display showing medical scans. "I also researched human biology. Their bodies are actually quite fragile compared to most galactic species. Thin skin, soft bones, only one heart, limited regeneration abilities." Kang Wu studied the scans. Humans did look remarkably vulnerable compared to the armored, multi-hearted, or cybernetically enhanced beings that dominated galactic civilization. "Then how do they keep winning?" he asked. "I have been trying to answer that question for hours," Choi Hana said. "The only pattern I can find is this. Humans almost never fight alone." She brought up a series of battle videos. In each one, human forces were clearly outnumbered and outgunned. But as the battles progressed, reinforcements kept arriving from unexpected directions. Supply ships appeared just when ammunition ran low. Medical teams materialized to treat the wounded. Engineering crews showed up to repair damaged equipment. "Watch this one carefully," Choi Hana said, highlighting a particular battle. This was a pirate attack on a human trading post. The post had 12 defenders against 80 attackers. "Look what happens." The video showed the initial attack. The human defenders took cover and began returning fire, but they were clearly overwhelmed. Then something strange happened. A civilian cargo ship that should have been fleeing toward safety instead turned around and began ramming the pirate vessels. A mining shuttle that had no weapons started dropping mining charges on the attackers. Even a passenger transport joined the fight, using its cargo loading arms as battering rams. The civilians fought, Kang Wu observed. Not just fought, they coordinated. "Watch the communication logs." Choi Hana overlaid data streams showing the radio chatter during the battle. The cargo ship captain is the sister of one of the defenders. The mining shuttle pilot is a former soldier who served with the post commander. The passenger transport crew includes 3 people who owe the trading post money for supplies. Kang Wu watched more of the battle. The coordination between the defenders and the civilian vessels was remarkable. They moved together like parts of the same organism, covering each other's weaknesses and amplifying each other's strengths. "Personal connections," he said. "Exactly. Every successful human defense I have studied follows the same pattern. The official military force is just the visible part. The real strength comes from all the people who decide to help because they know someone, or owe someone, or simply care about someone." Yoon-jae walked into the research center carrying a portable computer. His usually calm face looked troubled. "I have been analyzing human communication networks," he said without greeting. "You need to see this." He connected his computer to the main display. A complex web of lines and dots appeared, stretching across multiple star systems. "This is the official human military communication system," Yoon-jae explained. "Standard encrypted channels, nothing unusual." He pressed a key and the display changed dramatically. Thousands of new lines appeared, creating an incredibly dense network that connected virtually every human settlement in known space. This is the complete communication network, he said. Personal messages, commercial transactions, family letters, friendship updates, romantic conversations, business deals, everything. Choi Hana stared at the display. That is impossible. No species maintains that level of connectivity across such distances. Humans do, Yoon-jae said. They send personal messages across the galaxy just to check on each other. A human on one side of known space will receive a message from someone they met once 10 years ago, on the other side of the galaxy, asking if they are safe during a local crisis. How often? Kang-woo asked. Every day. Millions of messages. Humans who have never met personally will help each other based on recommendations from mutual friends. A human trader will give free supplies to strangers because someone they trust asked them to help. The 3 guild members stood in silence, studying the vast network of connections. It was unlike anything they had seen from other species, who typically maintained communication only within their immediate families, local communities, or official hierarchies. There is more, Yoon-jae continued. I tried to map the information flow patterns. Watch what happens when I simulate an attack on a human colony. He activated a simulation program. A red dot appeared on one of the human settlements representing a threat. Immediately, information began flowing along the network lines. Within minutes, every connected human settlement had received news of the attack. More importantly, offers of help began flowing back toward the threatened colony. Response time? Choi Hana asked. Average of 43 minutes from initial attack to first offer of assistance from another star system, Yoon-jae replied. Physical help, ships, supplies, reinforcements, begins arriving within 6 to 12 hours depending on distance. Kang-woo felt a chill run down his spine. You are saying that if we kill this Park Day, every human in the galaxy will know about it within an hour. Not just know about it, Yoon-jae corrected. They will know who did it, why it was done, and who ordered it. The Human Information Network is not just about communication. They actively investigate threats to their people. Choi Hana returned to her computer and opened another file. I found evidence of this. 3 years ago, a Zephyrian crime syndicate kidnapped a human diplomat for ransom. Within 2 days, humans across 5 star systems had identified every member of the syndicate, tracked down their families, located their financial accounts, and provided all of this information to local law enforcement. The syndicate was destroyed completely, Yoon-jae added. Not by military action. By humans working together to make sure the criminals had nowhere to hide. The door to the research center opened and the Weaver entered. The ancient leader moved slowly, but his presence filled the room with quiet authority. What have you learned? He asked. Choi Hana gestured at the displays around them. Humans are not what they appear to be. They look weak individually, but they function as a collective organism. Attack one and you attack all of them. They have no central government coordinating this behavior, Yoon-jae added. No military command structure ordering these responses. They just do it naturally, automatically. The Weaver studied the network display for a long moment. In my many years, I have seen the rise and fall of countless civilizations. Some were destroyed by war. Some collapsed from internal corruption. Some simply grew old and faded away. He paused. But I have never seen a species that turned individual weakness into collective strength so effectively. What do we do about the contract? Kang-woo asked. The Weaver was quiet for several minutes, thinking. Finally, he spoke. We learn more. Send someone to observe this Park Day directly. Not to kill him, just to watch and understand. If we are going to make a decision about humanity's fate, we need to see what we are really dealing with. Kang-woo nodded. I will go, my snow, the Weaver said. You are too valuable to risk on reconnaissance. Send Namsu, he is skilled and careful. Tell him to observe only. Do not engage the target under any circumstances. As the meeting broke up, Choi Hana remained at her computer, still searching through files. She had found something else. Something that worried her even more than the human network connections. But she needed more evidence before she could share her suspicions with the others. She suspected that humans were not just. Namsu had killed 17 beings in his 5 years with the Void Syndicate. Politicians, criminals, corporate executives. He eliminated targets efficiently and without emotion. At 28 years old, he was one of the guild's most promising young assassins. He had never hesitated before. Standing on the observation deck of the transport ship approaching Kepler 442b, Namsu watched the mining colony grow larger through the viewport. The planet looked exactly as described in the intelligence files, a brown, dusty world with a small settlement clustered around the mining equipment. The transport ship was registered as a civilian cargo vessel, carrying supplies to the colony. Namsu's identity papers showed him as Choi Tai, a traveling merchant specializing in rare minerals. His luggage contained samples of various ores, price lists, and business documents that would pass any reasonable inspection. Hidden beneath false bottoms were his weapons, surveillance equipment, and enough explosives to level a city block. The ship landed at the colony's small spaceport with a gentle thud. Namsu gathered his merchant supplies and joined the other passengers preparing to disembark. Most were miners returning from leave, supply clerks, and a few actual traders. Everyone looked tired and covered in dust. The spaceport was little more than a flat area of packed dirt with a few basic buildings for customs and cargo handling. A human soldier in a worn uniform checked Namsu's papers with polite efficiency. "Business on Kepler 442b?" the soldier asked. "Mineral trading," Namsu replied in accented Standard Galactic. "Looking for rare earth elements for industrial clients." The soldier stamped his papers and waved him through. "Welcome to our little corner of paradise. Hope you find what you are looking for." Namsu walked into the colony proper, immediately beginning his surveillance. The settlement was larger than it appeared from space, with about 3,000 residents living in simple but well-maintained buildings. The main street was paved with local stone, and small gardens grew beside many of the houses despite the harsh environment. He found lodging at a boarding house run by an elderly human woman named Mrs. Kim. She showed him to a clean, sparse room and offered him dinner in the common dining area. "You are here for the minerals?" she asked as she served him a bowl of surprisingly good stew. "Yes. I hear this world has unusual geological formations." "That it does. Commander Park says we are sitting on enough rare elements to make everyone in the colony rich, but he wants to make sure the environment is protected while we extract them." "Good man, our commander." Namsu nodded politely and asked casual questions about life in the colony. Mrs. Kim was happy to talk, describing the commander as fair, hardworking, and genuinely concerned about everyone's welfare. Before he came, the previous administrators treated this place like a prison camp, she said. "Long hours, dangerous working conditions, barely enough food. Commander Park changed all that. Now people actually want to stay when their contracts are up." Over the next 3 days, Namsu established his cover identity while conducting detailed surveillance of Park Day. The commander's routine was exactly as described in the intelligence files. He woke before dawn, walked through the mining facilities to check on the equipment, met with his staff, ate lunch in the common dining hall, and spent his afternoons reviewing reports and handling administrative duties. But the files had not captured the small details that Namsu observed directly. Park Day knew every worker by name and asked about their families. He personally inspected safety equipment to ensure it met standards. When a mining machine broke down, he worked alongside the repair crews to fix it. During mealtimes, he sat with different groups of workers, listening to their concerns and suggestions. On the 4th day, Namsu decided to make his move. He had identified 3 opportunities for assassination: Park Day's morning walk through the mining area, his lunch routine in the common hall, and his evening return to his quarters. Each location offered different advantages for escape and concealment. He chose the morning walk. At dawn, Park Day would be alone for approximately 12 minutes as he inspected the equipment in the outer mining section. Namsu could position himself on a ridge overlooking the area, with a clear shot at a range of 300 meters. After the assassination, he could retreat through a network of mining tunnels that led to the spaceport. Namsu spent the evening preparing his rifle and checking his escape route. Everything was perfect. By tomorrow morning, Park Day would be dead and Namsu would be off-world before anyone discovered the body. But as he lay in bed at the boarding house, Namsu found himself thinking about his conversations with the colonists. Everyone spoke of Park Day with genuine respect and affection, not the forced admiration that people showed to powerful leaders they feared, but the natural warmth reserved for someone who had earned their trust. Namsu had killed corrupt politicians and ruthless criminals without a moment's regret. But Park Day seemed to be neither corrupt nor ruthless. He appeared to be exactly what he claimed to be, a competent military officer doing his best to manage a difficult situation. At dawn, Namsu took his position on the ridge. His rifle was equipped with a scope that could track a target's heartbeat from half a kilometer away. He settled into the shooting position he had practiced dozens of times and waited. Park Day appeared precisely on schedule, walking alone through the mining equipment. He stopped at each major machine, checking control panels and safety systems. Namsu followed him through the rifle scope, waiting for the perfect moment to fire. The commander paused beside a massive ore processor, studying a readout on its control screen. He was completely exposed, standing still, an impossible target to miss. Namsu took a deep breath, placed his finger on the trigger and began to squeeze. Then Park Day suddenly turned and walked quickly toward the main colony buildings. Namsu kept the rifle trained on him, confused by the change in routine. Through the scope, he saw the commander approaching a Trilix worker who was stumbling along the path. The alien creature collapsed just as Park Day reached him. Namsu watched as the human commander immediately knelt beside the injured worker, checking his vital signs and calling for medical assistance on his communication device. Within minutes, a medical team arrived with a transport gurney. Park Day helped load the Trilix onto the gurney and accompanied the medical team to the colony's small hospital. The commander's morning inspection was forgotten, as he focused entirely on ensuring the injured worker received proper care. Namsu remained in position for another hour, but Park Day never returned to complete his routine. The assassination opportunity was lost. That evening, Namsu learned from Mrs. Kim that the Trilix worker had suffered a severe allergic reaction to pollen from some earth plants that had been introduced to improve the colony's air quality. Without immediate treatment, the alien would have died within minutes. Commander Park saved Jexel's life, Mrs. Kim said as she served dinner. That is the third time this year he has personally helped someone during a medical emergency. He has basic medic training from his military service. Namsu decided to try a different approach. He would plant explosives in Park Day's quarters and detonate them remotely during the night. He had small, powerful charges that would destroy a single room without damaging the surrounding buildings. But when he scouted the commander's residence, Namsu discovered that Park Day was not there. According to the night security guard, the commander was spending the night in the hospital, monitoring the Trilix worker's recovery. He does that sometimes when someone is seriously injured, the guard explained. Says it is part of his responsibility as commanding officer. Make sure the medical staff has everything they need. Namsu returned to his room at the boarding house frustrated and confused. In his 5 years as an assassin, he had never encountered a target who was genuinely difficult to kill for moral rather than tactical reasons. The next day brought another complication. Namsu had identified a perfect sniper position overlooking the common dining hall, where Park Day ate lunch every day. But when he arrived at the location, he found it occupied by a group of human children playing games. One of the children, a girl perhaps 8 years old, waved at him cheerfully. "Are you the mineral man Mrs. Kim told us about? Do you have any pretty rocks?" Namsu found himself showing the children some of the mineral samples from his merchant cover story. They were fascinated by the different colors and shapes, asking intelligent questions about how the crystals formed and what they were used for. "Commander Park taught us about geology," the girl said. "He says understanding rocks helps us take better care of our planet." As Namsu answered their questions, he realized that killing Park Day in front of these children would traumatize them permanently. He could wait for them to leave, but other colonists might arrive at any time. The dining hall was the social center of the colony, never empty for long. On his 6th day in the colony, Namsu finally found what seemed like a perfect opportunity. Park Day was scheduled to inspect a remote mining site several kilometers from the main settlement. He would be traveling alone in a small ground vehicle, following a predictable route through empty terrain. Namsu positioned himself along the route with a portable rocket launcher. One shot would destroy the vehicle and eliminate the target instantly. There would be no witnesses, no collateral damage, and no moral complications. He waited in the harsh sun for 2 hours before Park Day's vehicle appeared on the horizon. Namsu tracked it through his weapons targeting system, waiting for it to enter the optimal range. The vehicle stopped suddenly, still outside effective weapon range. Namsu watched through his scope as Park Day got out and walked towards something on the ground. After a moment, the commander returned to his vehicle and activated the radio. "Colony base, this is Park Day. I have found the mining crew that went missing yesterday. They are alive but injured. Sending coordinates now. I need immediate medical evacuation. Nam-Su cursed silently. He had not known about any missing miners. The rescue operation would bring multiple vehicles and dozens of people to this remote location. His assassination opportunity was ruined, but as he watched Park Dae providing first aid to the injured miners while waiting for the rescue teams to arrive, Nam-Su began to understand why this contract felt different from all his previous assignments. Park Dae was not just a target to be eliminated. He was a person whose death would genuinely harm everyone around him. The colonists did not just work for him or obey his orders. They depended on him, trusted him, and valued his presence in their lives. For the first time in his career as an assassin, Nam-Su found himself hoping that his target would survive. That night he sent a coded message to the Void Syndicate. Surveillance continuing. Target proving more complex than anticipated. Request additional time to identify optimal approach. He did not mention that he was no longer certain. He wanted to find one. Asiu's coded message reached the Void Syndicate's hidden base 12 hours later. Kang Wu decoded it in the communication center, frowning as he read the brief report. In 5 years of working with Nam-Su, he had never seen the young assassin request additional time to complete a surveillance mission. Problems? Choi Hana asked from her workstation nearby. Maybe, Kang Wu replied. He forwarded the message to her screen. Nam-Su is having difficulties with the target assessment. Choi Hana read the message quickly. This is not like him. Nam-Su usually completes reconnaissance in 72 hours maximum. That is what worries me, Kang Wu said. He activated the communication system to send a response. Nam-Su, provide detailed status report. What complications have you encountered? The reply came back 6 hours later, longer than Nam-Su's usual brief communications. As Kang Wu read it, his concern deepened into something approaching alarm. Call the Weaver, he told Choi Hana. He needs to see this immediately. 20 minutes later, the guild's senior members were gathered in the briefing room. The Weaver sat at the head of the table, his ancient face unreadable as Kang Wu summarized Nam-Su's report. He has had multiple opportunities to eliminate the target, Kang Wu explained. Clear shots, isolated locations, no security interference. But each attempt has been interrupted by situations that require the target to help other people. Coincidence, Yoonjae suggested. 3 times in 6 days? Choi Hana shook her head. That is not coincidence. That is pattern. The Weaver leaned forward slightly. What kind of help? Kang Wu consulted the report. Medical emergencies, equipment failures, missing persons. Each time Park Dae abandons his normal routine to assist someone who needs help. And Nam-Su cannot eliminate him during these helping activities because it would harm innocent people or traumatize witnesses, Kang Wu said. Nam-Su specifically mentions children who would be traumatized and injured workers who would die without the target's assistance. Silence fell over the room. The Void Syndicate had killed targets in front of witnesses before. They had eliminated people who were actively helping others. The guild's reputation was built on their willingness to complete any contract regardless of circumstances, but they had never been asked to kill someone whose death would directly cause the deaths of innocent people at the moment of assassination. I have been researching this further, Choi Hana said quietly. She activated the room's display system, showing a complex web of data. I think I understand what is happening. The display showed Kepler 442b and the surrounding star systems, with lines connecting various points. This is the communication traffic between Park Dae's colony and the rest of human space over the past month. Hundreds of thin lines connected the mining colony to other worlds. Normal administrative communications, Choi Hana explained. Supply requests, status reports, personnel transfers. She pressed a key and thousands of additional lines appeared, creating a dense web of connections. Personal communications, letters to family, messages to friends, business discussions with trading partners. That is normal for human colonies, Yoonjae observed. Yes. But watch what happens when I add the communication patterns from other human settlements. The display zoomed out to show a much larger area of space. The web of connections became incredibly complex, with lines crossing and recrossing between hundreds of different worlds. Every human colony is connected to every other human colony through these personal networks, Choi Hana said. But that is not the remarkable part. She highlighted certain communication streams in red. These are the messages that humans send when someone in their network needs help. Not official distress calls or military requests. Personal appeals for assistance. The red lines formed their own pattern, flowing like water toward any location where help was needed. When Park Day's colony had equipment failures last month, 17 different human trading ships changed their routes to bring replacement parts. When they had a medical emergency 2 weeks ago, a human doctor on a passenger liner 3-star systems away requested permission to detour and provide treatment. Kang Wu studied the display. "You're saying the humans have an unofficial support network that spans the galaxy?" "More than that," Choi Hana said. She changed the display to show temporal data. "I am saying they have a support network that operates faster than light communication." That got everyone's attention. Faster than light communication was theoretically impossible and practically unachievable by any known technology. "Explain," the Weaver commanded. Choi Hana brought up a timeline showing various crises at human colonies over the past year. "Watch the response times. A mining accident occurs on one world. Within 6 hours before any official distress signal could reach nearby systems, human ships from 3 different directions are already changing course to provide assistance." She showed another example. Pirates attack a human trading post. Before the attack is even officially reported, human naval vessels from 2 systems away are moving to intercept the pirates' escape routes. "Impossible," Yoon-jae said. "Communications cannot travel faster than light." "Neither can ships, I know," Choi Hana replied. "But the data does not lie. Humans are coordinating responses to crises before the information about those crises should have reached them through normal channels." The Weaver was quiet for a long moment, processing this information. "What is your theory about how this is possible?" "I have 3 possibilities," Choi Hana said. "First, humans have developed faster than light communication technology that they are keeping secret from the rest of the galaxy." "Unlikely," Yoon-jae interrupted. "Our intelligence networks would have detected such technology." "Second," Choi Hana continued, "humans have some form of collective consciousness or mental connection that allows them to share information instantaneously across vast distances." "Also unlikely," the Weaver said. "Telepathy at interstellar distances would require enormous amounts of energy. We would detect the energy signatures." "Third," Choi Hana said quietly, "humans are connected to something else, something that is aware of threats to human communities and coordinates protection without human knowledge or control." The room fell silent. The implications of the third possibility were disturbing for reasons that went far beyond the immediate assassination contract. "Show me the data on Park Day specifically," the Weaver said. Choi Hana switched to a display focused on the mining colony. 3 days ago, when Namsu was preparing for his first assassination attempt, something interesting happened. 7 human ships in nearby systems suddenly changed course toward Kepler 442b. The display showed the ship's movements. Each vessel had been engaged in normal commercial or civilian activities when they abruptly altered their routes. "Official reason for course changes?" Kang Wu asked. "Different excuses for each ship. One claimed equipment problems requiring emergency repairs at Kepler 442b. Another reported a medical emergency requiring immediate evacuation. A third said they had received a lucrative cargo contract. But none of these reasons were legitimate. The equipment problems were minor and could have been repaired at closer facilities. The medical emergency was a crew member with a mild stomach illness. The cargo contract was for goods that the colony does not need and cannot pay for." Yoon-jae leaned back in his chair. "So 7 human ships are converging on the colony where our assassin is preparing to kill a human target, and none of them have legitimate reasons for being there." "It gets worse," Choi Hana said. "I intercepted personal communications between the ship crews. They do not seem to know why they changed course. Several crew members questioned their captain's decisions, but the captains themselves could not provide clear explanations for their actions." The Weaver stood up slowly. "You are suggesting that these humans are being compelled to protect Park Day by some external force that they are not aware of." "I am suggesting that the human network is not entirely under human control," Choi Hana corrected. "Whether that means external manipulation or some form of unconscious collective behavior, I cannot determine." A communication alert sounded. Yoon-jae checked the incoming message and frowned. "Namsu is requesting immediate extraction. He says the situation on Kepler 442b has become too dangerous to continue surveillance." "Dangerous how?" Kang Wu asked. Yoon-jae read the message more carefully. He says Park Dae has figured out that someone is watching him, but instead of increasing security or calling for military support, the target has requested a private meeting. A meeting with Nam-soo? A meeting with whoever has been sent to kill him, Yoon-jae said. Park Dae apparently knows about the assassination contract. The room erupted in discussion. How could the target know about the contract? Had there been a security leak? Was Nam-soo's cover blown? The weaver raised his hand for silence. Send Nam-soo new instructions. He is not to meet with the target under any circumstances. He is to maintain surveillance only and await further orders. What if Park Dae approaches him directly? Kang Woo asked. The ancient leader considered this. Then Nam-soo is to reveal nothing and extract immediately. He paused. But I suspect it is too late for that. Another message arrived from Nam-soo. Yoon-jae read it with growing amazement. Park Dae has sent a public message through the colony's communication system. He is inviting the professional observers, who have been monitoring his activities, to join him for lunch tomorrow in the colony's central square. He is calling out our assassin publicly? More than that, Yoon-jae said. He is treating it like a social invitation. The message says he understands that people are curious about the colony's operations, and he would be happy to answer questions and provide a tour of the facilities. Choi Hana shook her head in disbelief. Either this human is completely insane or he knows something we do not. The weaver moved toward the door. Prepare a ship. I am going to Kepler 442b personally. Is that wise? Kang Woo asked. If something happens to you, something is already happening, the weaver interrupted. Something that threatens not just this contract, but everything we understand about how the galaxy works. I need to see this human for myself. As the meeting broke up, Choi Hana remained at her workstation, staring at the display showing the human communication networks. She had not told the others about her most disturbing discovery. She had found evidence that humans were not the only species connected to the mysterious network. Small numbers of other aliens, those who had lived and worked closely with humans for extended periods, were beginning to show similar communication patterns. The human network was not just protecting humans. It was slowly, quietly expanding to include anyone who became part of human communities. And Choi Hana was terrified that she might be right about what that meant for the future of galactic civilization. Kylaris watched from his hotel window as his two fellow assassins failed their missions. First, Zekto stumbled out of the Park family home, his mind broken and bleeding from his ears. The mind reader kept mumbling about endless wars and unbreakable will before he collapsed in the street. Human medical workers came to help him, which made everything worse for the alien assassin. Then Grixenal simply vanished during his attack. One moment he was phasing into the house, the next moment nothing. No screams, no explosions, no signs of battle, just silence. Kylaris knew his partner was either dead or captured. The perfect shot assassin realized he was now alone on a human world, and every story he had ever heard about humans was racing through his mind. He thought about Captain Lee Minho, who destroyed 47 criminal organizations after they killed his family. He remembered the Seoul Station incident, where diplomat Kim Nari hunted down everyone who tried to kill her. Most terrifying was Dr. Choi Hyun-woo, who made an entire alien species disappear after they tortured him. Kylaris decided to leave New Busan immediately. He packed his weapons and headed to the spaceport, but something was wrong. Every ship he approached had the same problem. Engine failures, computer crashes, life support issues. The mechanics all gave him apologetic smiles and said repairs would take several days. Sorry, sir, said the human mechanic working on the last available ship. These old engines just break down sometimes. Should be fixed by next week. Kylaris felt ice in his veins. He was trapped on a world full of humans, and they all knew what he was. He tried to contact other assassins for extraction, but his communication device only produced static. He tried to hire smugglers, but they all had scheduling conflicts. He even attempted to steal a ship, but found that every vessel required biometric scans from registered human pilots. As night fell, Kylaris sat in his hotel room and realized the horrible truth. The humans were not just aware of his presence. They were playing with him, like a cat playing with a mouse before the kill. His door chimed. Room service, the display said, but he had not ordered anything. Kylaris drew his plasma rifle and aimed it at the door. Go away, he called out. Mr. Kylaris? The voice was female, young, and perfectly polite. I have your dinner, sir. I said go away. The meal is complimentary, sir. From the Park family. Kailaris felt his hands shake. The Park family was sending him dinner. The same family he came here to destroy was offering him food. He did not know if this was kindness or the cruelest form of psychological torture. Leave it outside, he finally said. Of course, sir. Have a pleasant evening. He waited 30 minutes before opening the door. A simple tray sat outside with human food still warm. Rice, vegetables, some kind of meat dish. It smelled delicious. Attached was a handwritten note in perfect galactic standard. Everyone should eat well, even when far from home. The Park family. Kailaris stared at the note for a long time. These humans knew he came to kill them, yet they sent him dinner with a kind message. He had never encountered anything like this in 3 centuries of assassination work. Meanwhile, far across the galaxy, the Shadow Guild received an incoming transmission. The main screen flickered to life, showing a simple room with a simple man sitting at a simple desk. Park Do-hyun looked exactly like his file photo. Middle-aged, average height, unremarkable features. He wore a plain shirt and had a cup of tea beside him. Good evening, Park Do-hyun said, his voice calm and friendly. My name is Park Do-hyun. I believe you sent some people to visit me. Guildmaster Veltar felt his crystalline form vibrate with fear. Around the council chamber, the galaxy's most dangerous killers shifted nervously. None of them had ever felt terror like this from such an ordinary-looking being. We know who you are, Park Do-hyun continued, still smiling gently. We know where your bases are located. We know the names of your families, your friends, your associates. We know your real identities, your bank accounts, your secret fears, and your greatest weaknesses. The screen split into dozens of smaller images. Each one showed a different Shadow Guild member, some at their homes, some at their secret hideouts. The images were clearly taken recently. Some showed the assassins sleeping in beds they thought were completely secure. We have been watching your organization for many years, Park Do-hyun said. We know about every contract you have ever taken, every life you have ever ended, every government you have ever toppled. We have detailed files on each of you. Skrath, whose acidic touch could dissolve starship hulls, was shown in her private chambers on the dead world of Morketh. The image was so clear they could see her reading a book. How? Whispered Nixara, the shadow dancer who could phase through any matter. Her image showed her in a hidden cave on an asteroid that did not appear on any star charts. Humans are very good at making friends, Park Do-hyun explained, as if he had heard her question. We have friends in every government, every criminal organization, every military, and every intelligence service. When you have been watching us, our friends have been watching you. The implications hit the guild members like physical blows. If humans had infiltrated the Shadow Guild's intelligence networks, what else did they know? What other organizations had they penetrated? You sent 3 of your best killers to my home, Park Do-hyun continued. 2 have already failed. The 3rd is currently enjoying dinner that my wife prepared for him. He seems lonely, so we thought we should be good hosts. Morden, the shapeshifter who once replaced an emperor's son, found his voice. What do you want? I want you to withdraw the contract on my life, Park Do-hyun said simply. I want you to announce that the Shadow Guild will never again accept any contract against any human, anywhere, for any reason. And I want you to do this within the next 6 hours. And if we refuse? Veltar asked, though his voice cracked as he spoke. Park Do-hyun's smile never changed, but something cold entered his eyes. Then you will learn why the galaxy fears us. You will discover what happens when you threaten a human's family. You will understand why species that have conquered star systems surrender entire sectors rather than face our anger. The transmission ended, leaving the Shadow Guild in complete silence. Outside, in the cold vacuum of space around Kethmore, hidden human ships waited patiently for their answer. The 6 hours passed slowly for everyone involved. On New Busan, Kailaris sat in his hotel room staring at the empty dinner tray. The human food had been delicious, perfectly prepared, and completely untainted by poison or drugs. This confused him more than any threat could have. He was an assassin sent to kill these people, yet they treated him like a guest. At exactly 6 hours and 1 minute after Park Do-hyun's transmission, the Shadow Guild sent their reply. Guildmaster Veltar appeared on screens across the galaxy, his crystalline form dim with defeat. The Shadow Guild formally announces that we will never accept contracts against human targets, he said, his voice hollow. Any previous contracts against humans are hereby cancelled. This decision is permanent and not subject to negotiation. The announcement sent shockwaves through the galactic underworld. If the Shadow Guild, the most feared assassins in known space, refused to target humans, what did that say about humanity's true power? On New Busan, Park Do-hyun received the message while having breakfast with his family. His wife Seo Ji-won was reading reports on new plant species, and their son Park Min-seo was studying for his academy exams. They looked like any normal family anywhere in the galaxy. Good, Park Do-hyun said simply. Ji-won, could you call the hotel? Our guest probably wants to leave now. Seo Ji-won looked up from her reading. Should we offer him transport to the spaceport? That would be polite, Park Do-hyun replied. And pack him some food for the journey. Space travel can be hungry work. Their son Min-seo looked confused. Why are we being nice to someone who came to hurt father? Park Do-hyun put down his tea and looked at his son seriously. Because that is what makes us human, Min-seo. We protect our family, but we do not become monsters in doing so. The galaxy fears us because we can be terrible when we need to be. But we choose not to be terrible unless we have no other choice. Is that why the other aliens are afraid of us? Min-seo asked. They are afraid because they do not understand us, Seo Ji-won explained. Most species in the galaxy think strength comes from weapons or power, or the ability to hurt others. But human strength comes from something different. What is that? Their son asked. Love, Park Do-hyun said simply. We fight so hard because we love each other so much. When someone threatens one human, they threaten all humans. When someone hurts one of our family, the entire species becomes their enemy. At the hotel, Kylaris received a message that his ship had been repaired and was ready for departure. A young human woman arrived to escort him to the spaceport. She was friendly and chatted about the weather during the ride. First time on New Busan? She asked cheerfully. Yes, Kylaris replied carefully. And hopefully the last. Oh, that is too bad, the woman said. It is a beautiful world. We have excellent hiking trails and the sunsets are amazing. Maybe you can visit again sometime when you are not working. Kylaris stared at her. Did she know what his job was? Did she know he had come here to kill people? Her casual friendliness suggested either complete ignorance or complete confidence. Given what he had learned about humans, he suspected the latter. At the spaceport, his ship was indeed repaired and ready to go. The mechanics had done excellent work and refused payment. Professional courtesy, one of them explained with a smile. As Kylaris prepared for departure, Park Do-hyun appeared at the spaceport. The diplomat walked up to the assassin's ship without fear or guards. Leaving so soon? Park Do-hyun asked politely. Your Shadow Guild announced they will not hunt humans anymore, Kylaris replied. My contract is cancelled. I know, Park Do-hyun said, but I wanted to give you this before you left. He handed Kylaris a small package. Food for the journey. My wife made it herself. Kylaris took the package, still trying to understand these strange beings. Why? I came here to kill you. But you did not kill me, Park Do-hyun replied. You could have tried to complete your mission even after your partners failed. You could have attacked innocent people out of frustration. You could have chosen violence. But you did not. That shows you have honor. I am still an assassin, Kylaris said. Yes, you are. But you are also a being capable of choosing not to kill. That makes you worthy of respect. Park Do-hyun stepped back from the ship. Safe travels, Kylaris. I hope you find better work in the future. As his ship lifted off from New Busan, Kylaris looked down at the human colony. From space it looked peaceful and ordinary, but he now knew the truth. Every human down there was a trained warrior. Every building was positioned for defense. Every citizen was part of an intelligence network that spanned the galaxy. The humans had built something unique in the known universe. They had created a species that was individually dangerous, but collectively unstoppable. Attack one human and you faced all humans. Threaten their families and they would hunt you across the galaxy with patience and precision that made professional assassins look like amateurs. 3 weeks later, the being who had hired the Shadow Guild to kill Park Do-hyun was found dead in his private chambers. The room had been locked from the inside. His personal guards had seen no one enter or leave. Security systems showed no intruders. Yet he was dead, killed by methods that matched no known weapon. Pinned to his chest was a simple note written in galactic standard. We protect our own. Word spread quickly through the criminal underworld. Other assassination guilds quietly removed humans from their target lists. Pirate organizations marked human shipping lanes as forbidden territory. Slavers released any human captives they held and offered compensation for their trouble. The message was clear across the galaxy. There were predators in the universe, and then there were humans. Even the killers of kings and the shadows between stars knew better than to threaten Earth's children. On distant Earth, in the human home system, Admiral Hong Tai-Wu read the reports with satisfaction. The New Busan incident had gone exactly as planned. Park Do-hyun and his family were never in any real danger. The Shadow Guild had been under human surveillance for decades. The entire situation had been a carefully orchestrated demonstration. "Status report, Admiral?" his aide asked. "Mission complete," Admiral Hong replied. "The galaxy has been reminded why we are left alone. Our people can continue to explore, trade, and build their lives in peace." "What about future threats, sir?" Admiral Hong looked out at the stars through his office window. Somewhere out there, billions of humans were living their lives on thousands of worlds. Farmers, teachers, engineers, artists, diplomats, and yes, soldiers. All of them connected by bonds stronger than any weapon. "There will always be those who test our resolve," he said finally. "When that happens, they will learn the same lesson the Shadow Guild learned. We are not the strongest species in the galaxy. We are not the smartest or the most advanced. But we are the most dangerous because we fight for each other." The peace that followed was not maintained by treaties or diplomacy. It was maintained by simple understanding. Some sleeping giants should never be awakened, and humanity, despite its peaceful appearance, was the most dangerous giant of all. In the end, the galaxy learned to fear not human weapons or human technology, but human love, because there is nothing more terrifying than a species willing to do anything to protect its family. And every human, everywhere, was family.